got a, I think I got a
Notification?
I got a notification that you were on it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but yeah, bro. I mean, this is episode number 3, podcast. I have my best friend Jhosue here. I've known this guy for a long time. You know, since he moved there from Ecuador, he came to Fairlawn, and I remember when he came. What is it? 5th grade?
5th grade.
He came in 5th grade. He didn't really know how to speak any English at all. So he kind of learned from the people that were there. And it was really cool because he came at a time where, you know, Fairlawn didn't have many Hispanic people. So he went through a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of effed up stuff. You know, he's going to tell you that about a little bit about that in a little, you know, a little bit I could tell you about Jhosue is that, you know, because I've known him for so long, I've seen like the transformation. You know, he's gonna tell you a little bit about that himself. But yo, this is a dude. This is a dude who. Sorry about that. This is a dude who went through. He went through the Marine Corps. You know, so not everybody can do that. There you go. He's wearing it. You know, not everybody could do that. You know, it seems easy. It seems like a lot of people want to, like a lot of people can try it, but they don't go through with it. They quit. You know, it's like anything else. Like, you know, the only way you can fail in anything is by quitting or doing nothing, you know? And if you don't quit and if you do something, you will succeed every time, as long as you're not, not a little bitch, as you would love to say.
No, the biggest thing to bring up about that is like you have to adapt to change. And is you have to change the way you think and the way you carry yourself in order to adapt and succeed in that environment, honestly.
It's like a process, right?
It's a process, and that's with anything that involves change and involves a change of lifestyle drastically involves a lot of mental changes and how you think and how you carry yourself. That's what this podcast is about change and personal development.
Well, like, tell us a little about it. Like, let's start with that. Like, what's something that changed you in the Marine Corps? Let's start with
that. So we're from Jersey.
Yeah.
People from New York and Jersey, we don't have a good rep. And across the U.S., that's just a fact. That was a fact that I had to encounter in boot camp. They're like, "Hey, where are you from?" They're like, "Oh, you're from Jersey." Okay. So off the bat, I already knew it was gonna be different for me. And some of the things I had to adapt to is just having somebody in your face or having somebody telling you what to do. And at that time, things may seem like they meant it in a harmful way or in a very angry way, telling you to do things. And that's how I took it, because I was a young kid who didn't know any better. And, I went through hell, like all hell for 3 months straight. But when that 3rd month hit and I was able to step back into my own reality and realize the change that happened within myself, just brought like light to my eyes. And I was like, holy shit, like, these guys, like, yeah, they were kind of douchebags at the time, but they meant it in a good way.
Just for a reason.
For a reason. Everything was for a reason. Everything made me the way I am now was just by starting there.
Yeah.
Like that, I had to leave home. I had to leave my friends. I had to be surrounded by people that I didn't know. I had to get out of my comfort zone, my environment, in order to see what else I was capable of. I went into boot camp thinking I could do 7 pull-ups. I got out doing 31. What did it take? Change. And I had to adapt and I had to do what they had to do in order to succeed. And that's what made me the most athletic one in my whole platoon.
How did that make you feel at the end? Like that you actually could do that? Or maybe you knew you could do that, but you proved it to yourself at the end. How'd you feel?
When I walked out with the Marine title, I cried. I was crying just because I knew the hard times would be over. But those were my hard times at that time. More stuff happened during my time that's helped me become who I am now.
It's like, man, one of the cool things that I remember, maybe not cool, but one of the things I remember when you were visiting and talking, I was talking to you while you were through that. I even wrote to you once or twice.
Oh yeah, you did.
Well, one of the things I remember is that you told me, "Hey man, I have these little kids screaming at me, kids that were younger than you." And maybe that's something else that you kind of went through. You're like, you weren't used to that and you didn't want to go through that.
Yeah.
So like, how is that, like, going through that? Like, did you have to like kind of humble yourself?
Fun fact. I have a decal on my car that says "Stay humble." I live by that. You gotta humble yourself and you just gotta bite your tongue and just do what you need to do at that time to help you succeed. Yeah, some of these kids were younger than me, but they knew more than I did. But I didn't know better. All I saw was it was my ego that was getting in the way of me being able to listen. Now I'm willing to listen to a 19-year-old as long as they have the right mentality and just the right tools to guide me.
The results to it.
And results.
Matters.
I'm very analytical, and results have to happen.
Yeah.
And that's just another thing. You have to humble yourself, and you have to adapt, and you have to change. Because if you don't change according to the situation, you're not gonna succeed. You're gonna have a shitty time, and it's just gonna make things harder.
Yeah. No, that's a great start to this, dude. Like I appreciate you, dude. Like, I mean, I've learned a lot from you too. Like, just by observing. Maybe I don't tell you that a lot, but just like from observing, I like doing that. I like observing around me. That way, I don't do the same things. Because I've had a good life, bro. I like looking out. Like, I have a lot of family, like the Patterson area, like around here, right, in more urban areas, and I obviously live in a suburb, right. And a lot of times, like people like that looking, like my family looking from the outside, they're like growing up, they're like, oh, Adrian's rich, Adrian's this, Adrian's that. So from a very young age, I was always like, okay.
And it's funny that you say that because me growing up, I saw you, Anthony, Josue, like, damn, these niggas got money. I live in a fucking basement.
Mhm.
And that shit is crazy. You say that. Damn.
Yeah, but but like even like that, for example, just by exactly what you just said, you might live in a suburb because when you moved there, you were in a suburb, right? But yeah, exactly, you were living in a basement.
I was in the dirt
from the beginning, and we all have things like that. But but again, back to what I was saying, like my family sees that, but they don't see that the hard work that my parents put in. Because my parents started from the dirt too. My mom came here 8 months pregnant. I could have died. Like,
Yeah.
8 months in her belly. So I see that, and my parents were in a little house, in an attic. Like it was like 5 people. Me, my parents, and me in the middle. We were in a little small bed, and a lot of people don't realize that. So going back to that, it's like people don't see the beginning.
Yeah.
They see you now, bro. You live in Edgewater. You're living like comfortably. You live, and I'm proud of you, bro. Like that's fucking awesome. Not a lot of people your age can do that. There's people our age, bro, or even 30 years old. I have friends that are almost 30. What are they doing? They're like still at a job or still looking for a job.
And that's what brings us up to this topic is because change needs to happen, whether it happens at 30 years old, 40, 25. Luckily for me, it happened at 24 years old. I'm just turning 26. It's been like a year and a half since I've had this straight mentality. Like I've always wanted to succeed, but I didn't know what the hell it took to get me there. And change. You just need to change.
So you just said a year and a half. What's like changed in the last year and a half?
All right. So I have my dog, Otis. He's 10 months old. Within 10 months, I went from an extremely toxic relationship. I was working 17-hour days, working for FedEx, working for Amazon. And that just made, and I was going through hella stress, a lot of financial struggles because I was supporting a family. And it really set me back in life because it kind of took me back how my father was. And it set me back because I got into debt because of this girl. I got into debt because I had to make bills. But guess what? I changed who I surrounded myself with. I changed how I thought. I changed what I did on a day-to-day basis. And that's really, really changed my life. I now live in one of the wealthiest cities in Bergen County. I have a really nice car. I surround myself with people who are making money, who develop themselves. Like this fucking kid, man, he's been doing this shit for so long, and it never clicked until like a year and a half ago. And I'm like, yo, Adrian's got it. Like this kid is going far. Yeah. And that's real.
Yeah, man. That's real. So something like I don't like showing it, especially when I go out. And that's something I've been changing slowly within the last month, because something that I've noticed is because of the things that, like, again, back to like my cousins, like always saying that I was rich. I never liked it. So I never liked showing it. So when I would go out, and I remember even you would say to me, like, yo, you're rich. Why are you have those boots on? Why are you like, why are you dressed like that? And I think I was always subconsciously, but I got to the point, like I got like it started 5 years ago. I started not giving a fuck what people thought about me. And it was when I came up to my family, like people I really wanted to help out with an opportunity. And again, I started realizing that maybe it wasn't for them. So now it's like when I bring somebody to family that I love or friends, It's like, look, it's not important to me that you do it. It's not important to me that you buy it or whatever I'm doing, but it is important to me that you listen.
Mhm.
Because my mentality is, in a year from now, when I'm doing very well, at least you didn't say, hey, Adrian didn't want to help me in the beginning.
Facts.
So that's how I think about it now.
No, that's
So
true. Because
so
people are like that.
so
People are like
now,
that.
yeah. So now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start dressing nice. I'm gonna start actually caring about myself because it does matter. Because
You know why?
Mhm,
Because people notice change.
exactly. And I was having a conversation with my mother, and she goes, get a haircut, do this, do that. Start dressing nice because you're doing very well here, but in the exterior, first impressions matter.
Mhm.
So when you come up to somebody who's wealthy, if you want to meet wealthy people, you gotta look like it. You gotta all tap.
You gotta carry yourself like it.
And I always do carry myself. And I used to tell you this all the time, like, hey, I might not look like it, but
Yeah, yeah,
trust me,
you
I'm right
did.
there.
You did.
So when the conversations start coming up, I can talk to people. I can talk. I feel like I'm invincible when I speak to people. But it obviously took time, But I see that in you. I see that in you. And yo, you're my friend. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do think it needs a little more improvement when it comes to like, because sometimes you do get a little too aggressive.
And hey, guess what? That's who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of the day, I know what I'm aggressive towards and who I'm aggressive towards.
Yeah.
So like I'm being aggressive with like the investing shit. I'm being extremely aggressive.
Yes.
Like, and I am so aggressive with it that I become protective.
Yeah.
And if you try to take something away from me that I've worked so hard for, you're not. Yeah,
I love that.
I'm gonna become a pit bull. Don't take my shit.
I love
Don't get in my way, bro. Like I worked too hard to get to where I have and to own what I own. Like no one's gonna get in my way. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna keep that aggressive mentality. And that's what they like when I was working at Amazon. They love that shit. That's why I got promoted so quick.
Mhm.
I was an account manager at 24 years old, doing a job of a 50-year-old. And but they love that transparency because that's what made us so good. But I just take pride in what I do, and I become very protective of my things.
Have you ever heard of the colors like blue, red, green, yellow?
I mean, yeah, colors to me. I don't know. Tell me about it.
You're a super red. I have conversations with my friend like Gary.
Oh, you mean like I'm 0 or 100? 0
Oh,
or
you took the test?
oh no, that's just how that's how I live. I'm always at 0.
Uh-huh.
Don't let me get at 100 in a bad way. Let me get at 100 in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly. So we all need work. All of us, no matter what.
Always,
All of us,
bro.
all of us,
Always.
all of us. We're always gonna need work, no matter what.
Mhm.
Like we're never gonna be perfect. That's
I
something
agree.
I've noticed. Like but what I'm talking about, a red is like I'll send you the colors test. Because we're all the same. We're all blue, red, green, yellow. But
Mhm.
some of us are just a little more of one color. For example, you're a super red, bro. I love it because when I meet reds, I'm like, okay, this is the dude that can kill it in whatever he's gonna do.
Yeah.
So that's your personality. I'm more of a
But you're
I'm
a green. You're a green.
no, you're a green. You're a red green. So okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a red is somebody who's very like that. When he comes out, his chest is puffed out. You notice him in the room.
Yeah.
He's gonna take command in action.
Mhm.
You're a red. Um, and green means you're a little analytical, like you just said,
I'm very
analytical. So
Yeah.
red, green, and yellows are very caring. So I'm like, and the blues are very they love to have fun, right? They love excitement. They're always traveling, doing this and that. So we have a little bit of every color.
Yeah.
I'm more of a red yellow. I really do care about people. I can be soft spoken, like if I'm with one person, but if it's a lot of people, it can get a little, my red just comes out because I'm very passionate. I'm passionate. That's the thing. Like I don't get too in the moment, but I am very passionate. So yeah, it's cool. I'm
Do,
gonna send you that colors test, bro. Like because it helps.
do you think that just happened overnight? Do you think you had to change your ways
Dude,
from
you
a young
remember me in
age?
high school? I was very quiet.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did you have to change? Like, did you have to get out of that comfort zone? Like, did you have to, like, what did you have to do to make that change happen?
So I got involved in a company about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I first saw that industry, and I'll say it straight out because I tell everybody I do this now. When I was 16, I saw some dude in Wayne, right? He looked like me. He spoke like me. He had, at the time I was wearing glasses. He even had glasses. And he was a Spanish dude, a Colombian guy. And we went into a house in Wayne, and this dude just gets up and speaks in front of like 40 college kids. And in my head, I was like, yo, I'm scared to do this, but I know I can do it. Right. And I just see him and I'm like, hey, he can do it. I can do it. So ever since that day when I was 16, like kind of just switched my whole mindset completely. And that's what started me off. And I went into that. I never got involved with it. Fast forward to when I was 20 years old, I got involved in a company that kind of had just rewired my brain completely. I went through a lot of rejection with that because I had to get people involved, right? And that was the way
To market it, yeah.
yeah, it was never marketing. Like I had to involve people in the business. To me, it was a great idea because it's something we do organically already. But again, I went through my family telling me no. A lot of people blocked me. I was left on red. Like people thought I was stupid. I was going to jail. It was a scam. Like it was just like, you know, so I felt, I went through a low place in my life because, people I grew around with, like, were just telling me, just deleting me from their lives. The good thing, the reason why I had success in it, because I grew in it. Money wise, I started making money. Not only that, like just personally wise, right? Is that I stuck around with people that like had what I want. People that were constantly developing and working on themselves. One of the guys, Gary, when I met him, one of the first things he told me was like, "Hey, stick around the fire. Your life will be completely different within the next 2 to 5 years." And thank God it is. That audio I sent you, Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
I've listened to that audio maybe 90 times in the last 5 years, but completely.
Great.
But like completely, and not just him. There's a lot of people I've been introduced to that are it's just about personal development, so yeah, it didn't happen overnight. It took time. And I thank God, I thank the universe, whatever you want to say, for that experience, and because honestly, we probably wouldn't even be talking here right now, doing this podcast, because of all that. Again, we all go through our own lives, we all have our own lives. And I was speaking to you in the pier, in your house, and you kind of just told me some things, and I was just like, okay, I've known Josue a long time. You kind of just put into perspective to me. And it was because I would take my time to ask you some questions. You were telling me like, bro, I've worked for this. And you
I
have.
worked hard.
Yo, you have. Like, and I told you straight up, I was like, dude, you're at a point where
Bro, I
most
went to
people.
jail on my birthday last year
How is that? Tell us, like, what happened?
because I was surrounded by the wrong people. I went to jail. I was falsely accused of shit. Went to jail. The cops were like, dude, you don't even belong here. And that last experience was like, fuck, like, why am I in jail? Like, that was just stupid. And since that day, I just like, I cannot surround myself with people like this anymore. I can't, like, it's not good for my mental health because my mental health was fucked up from just getting out the Marine Corps. Saw some horrible things. But also, like, just surrounding yourself with the wrong person, bringing you down as you're trying to elevate, it just leaves you in a stuck in like a stuck status. Like you just can't move up and you can't move down. You just stuck there. You can't move. And I was in that situation for over a year. Bro, I've been trying to get out of the bullshit for so long, but she held me back.
You're my boy. We don't say the word try here. You are.
I was definitely getting to it, but she was definitely holding me back.
Yeah.
And once I got out of that, I changed who I surrounded myself with. There's a lot of kids from high school that we're friends with. I don't surround myself with them anymore. You've always had the right mindset, so I'm like, he has to stay around because now I hang out with like late 20s, 30, 40-year-olds, and I told you that you're one of my younger friends, and we're the same age.
Yeah.
Because I like to see what the future can hold for me. Like, if this guy is 32 years old, he has a house, nice cars, that is 6 years older than me. In those, I have 6 years to get there or more. What he did in 6 years, why can't I do it in 3?
Yes.
That's exactly how I think, and that's how I think now. But what did that take? Took a lot of trials and tribulations to get me there.
You collapse in time frames. That's what you're doing. You're compressed time. Because everything you just said, like somebody told me, he's like, hey, you stick around in the next 2 to 5 years, you can have six to eight, 7 figures. But I needed that shit yesterday. Like, I needed that shit yesterday. So like, there's a real cool quote. I actually wrote it down. It says, the managers notice that the leaders are creating momentum, and that's the solution to any problem. Momentum in your life, and momentum can mean many different things. To me, in my industry, is like work. What's work? Putting people in front of something, and then just like constantly doing over and over and over again. For you, I was talking to you, yo. I make big moves. Like there's a dude who's making $1 million, and he's 30 years old. Like you just said, he's like, how did he get that? He wasn't working a job. He was making moves. He was doing business moves.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Momentum. Momentum cures all problems. Momentum really does cure all problems. But again, it's a process because it is a lot of things. You know, it is a lot of things.
And there is something else I do want to bring up, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you know, and this is why I keep saying, like, just don't surround yourself with negativity. You won't realize it initially, but when you get to a certain point in your life, you start to pick out the wrong people. And those people are the ones that are really holding you back, not only because they're telling you, oh, maybe that's not the right way. It's just like they don't really believe in you. Like, for example, this person's girlfriend, right? She's telling me, oh, you're still the same guy from 3 years ago. You know, you just love to party. You just like to be with girls, this and that. And like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I did like to party. Yeah, I did like to have my fun.
Past tense.
I did. I did. I loved it. I had so much fun. And that's who I was at that time.
Yeah,
It's not who the hell I am anymore.
exactly.
He knows. We used to party.
Yeah, hell
We used to
yeah.
have fun.
I was a dumbass. Yeah.
But we've learned, and it's at a point where it's just like I've lost money, I've lost family members, I've lost relationships, I've lost an animal, I've lost personal items. Why? Because I just wanted to go out, drink, and have fun with my friends.
Do you regret it?
I regret it completely. I regret it. Actually, no, I don't
Yeah,
regret it.
you
I
don't.
don't regret it.
Me,
But
you,
if
who
I
you
could,
are, bro.
if I could go back and fix it, I would, with the knowledge that I have now. Do I regret it? No, because that's what's gotten me to where I am
Exactly.
now. My last relationship has gotten me to the relationship that I'm in now.
Mhm.
And I was in the car screaming. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for showing me my worth and showing me what I want in life.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest wake up in my life, was my last relationship. Going to jail because of her, paying, going in debt because of her. That was just the biggest awakening in my life. Honest to God. Honest to God. Honest to God.
You know, it serves a purpose, bro. You know, like you said, you know, I used to regret things, but then I started realizing, like, I learned from these guys, like a lot of like, the people we listen to. You know, like we shouldn't regret anything because again, like you just said, it makes us who we are. You
Yeah.
know, and it's part of our life. Fuck it, let's embrace it. You know, it's just embracement and just like grow through it. Like you just said, you know, like yeah, we did stupid shit, but now we can tell people about it. They don't have to do the same things that we did.
And that's, I do that a lot. I have the younger cats that I do hang out with, and I mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this kid, he's 20 years old. I put him in a management role in my old job because I knew I was on my way out. So I'm like, why don't I just hook somebody else that I see myself in? So I see myself in this kid. Like this kid he has a good head on his shoulders. He knows what he wants. So he calls me every day. He calls me,
Yeah.
and he's like, hey bro, like, you know, this and that. And I just tell him how to handle certain situations because he's so young and inexperienced.
Yeah.
And like I would have handled it the way he wanted to handle it.
Yeah.
But that was my old mindset.
Yeah.
So I tell him like, hey bro, like I feel you. I would have done the same thing, but let's not go about it that way.
Yeah.
Because I know the outcome.
Yes.
I've been there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in that outcome.
You're setting him up for success without him
And
even realizing.
I wish I would have had that, or I wish I wasn't so stubborn growing up that I would have fucking listened. And you know what?
We all have our time, bro.
I'm
We all have
just
our time.
I'm like, and that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you're boring now. No, I'm not boring. I'm not boring, bro.
Yes.
Believe me, if I want to have fun, I'll have fun, and I'll take your light away from you. But I'm not like that no more. It's so dumb to me.
You know what's funny? I have you know, because again, I surround myself with 20% of my time. I'm sorry, 80% of my time is surrounded by people who are doing stuff, working on themselves or on something.
Yeah.
20% of the time I hang out with like family and friends that aren't really doing that.
Right,
know,
but they're still around.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. Just I'm not gonna completely delete them from my life
Right.
because you know that's not right either. So I have a lot of, for example, family members like my age, cousins or whatever, and they complain about certain things or they want to do work on themselves, but they stick around a certain clique. And going back to what you just said about being boring, they see me and they're probably like, oh, that's boring. I'm having fun. Like to me, it's enjoyable.
That's because they don't see
Exactly.
it. They don't see it.
But to me, it's enjoyable. And what I'm trying to say is that like they keep complaining about certain things, but when I go on their like social media, right? Again, social media is a lot. It can be a liar, deceitful, but they're out there drinking, like doing stupid shit. I see them going out and like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but if you're complaining about something,
why don't you do something about
exactly. You know, so that's my thing. It's like, all right, yo, because the key thing, and this is what I found out. The thing is for people to be happy. If you're
Mhm.
happy and you're doing something, I don't care that you're doing what I'm doing or anything. I'm happy for you because happiness is literally the thing. You know, when you were going through all
I
those things,
agree.
you were a little stressed.
I can agree with that. I can agree as long as you're happy, but I can't be happy for you if I know you're heading in the wrong path because I've probably already been there.
So the only reason, okay, I'll come back to that. Is that uh, I try to help. When I first started out with everything,
Mhm.
with my entrepreneurial journey, I tried helping people that didn't want to help themselves. So I
Mhm.
felt like I was kind of always like, "Hey, come here, little guy, come here, little guy." But nah, what I realized, and this is from Jim Rohn, is that the birds are gonna get some. It's like, and when people want to leave our lives or like don't want to listen to us, we kind of just have to be like, okay, it's like one of those, you know, the birds get away.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
they
yeah,
just get
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Sometimes
It's
you just gotta let them fly.
you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped.
Why help out a chicken that's not an eagle? You get what I mean? You have to, like, yeah, like sometimes like you can't make a chicken fly. Think about it, they'll just be like
Mhm.
this. Like,
Yeah,
you know, but like an eagle, you can just like help him out, train him his wing. You know, you can leave him here for a little, sooner or later, they'll just leave. You know, and then you can just be you can not comfortable, you can be like a little like, okay, more calm, like, hey,
I think what I like to personally do is, you're doing what you're doing, but
mhm,
me, I'm more of like, bro, like I try to help people in their own way, like so they're not in the situations that I was in. Like for example, I have some kid who was like, hey man, like how do I trade? And I told him like, hey man, like like join this chat and like we'll help you out. But then he's like, oh, I don't know if I have time for this and that. And I'm like, I could give you all the tools, but it's up to you whether
exactly,
you want to do it or not. And it's one of those things is especially what we're doing is like you get out of it what you put into it.
exactly.
And I told Ive that. Ive is our friend, by the
He's
way.
probably gonna watch this, but yeah, nothing but love. Uh-huh.
So that's just how it is. And
And it's like that in anything, honestly. Like you have to put in work. Like you have to time, the work, the concentration. If you really want something, you'll get it. Going back to what you said, if you
Mhm.
really want something, you're gonna get it. So again, like
When there's a will, there's a way.
when there's a will, there's a way. So like I get the same five things from everybody. I don't have time. I don't have any money. Like I gotta consult with the fucking tooth fairy and my wife and my husband. Like, yo, it's the same five things all the time. It's like, oh, what's a different one? I don't know. It's like,
I also try to put things into perspective for people, knowing
mhm,
them personally. Like, for example, I told my boy, like, hey man, instead of you doing illegal shit that you're putting thousands of dollars into, why don't you put a little bit of money in here and get a big outcome out of it?
yes,
And that is a big change to this guy. So now I'm kind of like mentoring him in a way to like surround himself or bring him around people that will kind of let him see what I see. Because he has the same vision, just doesn't have the right people around him.
yeah. I mean, something that Jim Rohn says is that you can carry maybe one on your back, you know, but that's why the phrase was invented, get off my back, you know, because somebody discovered somebody on his back. He's like, yo, get off my back, you know, because you can carry one. You could, if you're like somebody like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, somebody big, you could probably carry two. You can't carry three, you know,
Yeah.
and that really stuck with me because that's when I started realizing you can't help everybody, even the people you love, and it sucks. And it really, really, really sucks because you just want to help them. And again, you can't help someone that can't help that doesn't want to help themselves. You can stick around for them after so long, but after a while, it just gets tiring. And sooner or later, it's like you
But
get
those people come around. They come around eventually.
yeah, yeah. Again, but again, I've gotten to the point where I don't spend time on people like that. And as long as much as I love them, I do not spend. Like for example, my own sister. I love my sister. She got involved in me with trading, and as much as I want to tell her, bros, let's do this, let's do that, and I still do every now and then, like every other like 4 days. But I know that she'll come around. How? How is she gonna come around? Because she sees
She's
me
gonna
putting
see
in the work.
results. She's gonna see results.
She's seeing the results already. She's seeing that whether it's trading or
Or
building the
marketing.
business.
Mhm.
Yeah. And not just that, she's slowly coming up to me. It's like, oh, okay, let's do this. Hey, I'm free this time. She's my sister. Of course. What time? Every night at 7, let's trade. Okay. So starting this week, we're gonna trade. Why? Because after a month, and she had to do it on her own time, and Why did she come up to me? Because she's seen me putting in the work. So again, going back to that quote I just said, momentum creates everything. Momentum is the solution to every problem. Because while you're working, people are watching. People are always watching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I have little kids right now, like a bunch of my little cousins that they're growing up, and they follow me on social media. They follow us on TikTok, the pizzeria. They tell me, hey, I love what you guys are doing with the pizzeria. Hey, I love what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but it's so cool. My little cousin named Jaden, my nephew, he was on our live yesterday with Gary, and we were making shirts. His name is Trippy J, right? So if you're watching this, Jay, I got you. And he was like, hey, make me a shirt. And I'm like, oh no, I asked him, I'm like, hey, I'll make you a shirt. What do you want? And he typed it in. Now I'm obliged to do it because I opened my mouth and I did the shirt right then and there. My Rose went out with my cousins. I gave it to them. He texted me this morning, hey, thank you for the shirt. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Like, and he made me like these cool emojis, and it made me feel good. He didn't pay for it, but I just did it for him. You know, little stuff like that. Momentum is the cure to everything, I believe.
I think you did say that right. I think that's really good, especially like momentum, bro. That momentum you have going on with your business, you're killing it, man. And I think that's fucking great, bro.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we all go through shit. Yo, I'm happy you came, bro. Like, because, like, yo, we all need to get things off our chest.
No,
all of us.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, bro, but this is, bro. Anyone watching this, you need to change yourself before you can change somebody else. That's just how I want to leave this. You can't help somebody if you can't help yourself, whether it's financially or personally or physically. If you can't help yourself with those three things, you can't help somebody else.
Yeah, I need to get some ice. That was fire. Oh, I think I'm that's gonna be the title. Jhosue Lucio. You can't change yourself before you can't change people before you change yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, bro. Yo, thank you for coming on, bro. I mean, people are gonna follow you because what's your IG? Drop your IG. What is it?
Life_of_Jhosue.
It'll be in the description, and yeah, follow this guy, follow me. I mean, we're gonna be doing some fucking amazing things, and
I'm not boring, I swear to God. I still post funny shit, and we still get to the bag.
always to the back.
Always to the bag.
Thank you for getting on, bro.